Glad to be here. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy G. I am a grateful recovering compulsive overeater and also a grateful member of ACA. I've uh, my first 12-step program was in fact OA, and I'm still active there. I've been in that program for goodness, 18 years now. But I have only been in ACA not quite uh, two. So for those who have been around the block a few times in ACA, some of this stuff is going to be a little redundant for you. Uh, I apologize for that, but would like to intersperse that with my experiences in uh, OA as well as, kind of in the rest of life. Um, I do consider myself recovering in both OA and ACA. I kind of look at it as a journey. Uh, and I'm thinking that probably for me, the destination is going to be, uh, when I am no longer with us. So um, I don't know. It just puts my head in the right place to say, yes, it's continually a journey. Uh, Oddly enough, I came to Friendly Circle Berlin probably 4 or 5 months before I even learned of ACA. Uh, I had heard it mentioned a number of times in our Zoom meetings that we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Uh, but I was on uh, one of our regular speakers emailing lists uh, back in, I think it was April of 2023. We were blessed to have Dr. Alan Berger and Herb K come and speak to us live and in person here in St. Louis. And they gave a terrific talk as usual, but one of the greeters at the front door to the event was quite active in ACA locally here in St. Louis, and she kind of shepherded my way into finding out what it was all about. And uh, yeah, I think I'll just wind it back a few steps here. Um, as I said, I've been in OA a fairly long time. I come definitely from an alcoholic family. I consider my parents to have been high functioning alcoholics, meaning we always, had a roof over our heads and food on the table and uh, somewhat of a sense of order in the household. Um, but how problems were dealt with, or oh, we kind of hit the wall with a problem, what's the next step? Well, the next step was always to, break out the bottles. And, sometimes things didn't get done that way. So yeah, there was definitely an alcoholic addiction uh, stream going in my family on both sides, really. So yeah, that was kind of my way of dealing with the problems that used to baffle me as a kid was, yeah, finding some junk food, finding some sugary beverage, and indulging and overindulging that. And hence I got up to 270 pounds at one point by, muffling myself against life by excess food and foods that were not good for me. Let's see. Um, so OA helped me a great deal, get getting rid, well, not getting rid, dealing with the problems that I used to numb myself out with food. Um, but I got to a point after a number of years, and this would probably be about 15 years or so into the program, of okay, why do I keep relapsing? You know, I've been uh, a number of years, but I continually uh, got to relapse. And as I found in this journey through ACA, is that dealing with uh, just the surface obvious stuff with the food was not going to keep me uh, abstinent and healthy and sane. Uh, my first meeting at ACA was my first introduction to the ACA 12 steps. And I got to tell you that it was difficult being in another 12-step program and having the 12 steps that way. Uh, it was hard to give them up. What I did find after a time, though, was okay, the original 12 steps were essential to helping me get over the surface addiction of the food and the behavior addiction. But, the internal stuff, the emotional stuff, spiritual stuff, um, something more was needed. And folks, I do apologize that I'm mixing the two together. For me, that's kind of how it's gone in my life, is that, ACA has been intertwined with OA. Um, what I'd like to do now is share the ACA 12 steps. Okay, so I'd like to read through these, fairly quickly, because, those of you who have been in ACA have seen these, so we're not talking anything terribly new here. Let's see. I don't know if let's see, let's try this again. Okay, can somebody give me a nod or something that you are seeing the ACA 12 steps?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, the ACA 12 steps. And oh, these aren't the right ones. I'm sorry. Let's see. Give me just 1 second here. I think I've got those on another tab. I was going to mention Tony A's 12 steps. Tony A is a gentleman who encountered a Alateen group back in the mid 1970s and kind of helped guide them through things they were going through as individuals uh, that weren't, quite being addressed. All right, do we have Tony A's 12 steps showing now or
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
great, thanks. Thanks. Okay, so Tony A did some revision of the 12 steps uh, to more uh, address the emotional and spiritual aspects of um, living in a family with alcohol uh, addiction or a dysfunctional family. So these 12 steps from Tony A are: one, we admitted we were powerless over the effects of living with alcoholism and that our lives had become unmanageable. Yes, I concur with that, that living with alcoholism can affect you adversely, physically, certainly not like being addicted to it yourself, but being in a family with it will make your lives unmanageable. Let's see. Step two, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could bring us clarity. I love that word clarity, that you can kind of get the 10,000 feet view of the situation and um, get a better concept of what's going on. Uh, the sanity, that may be the other members of your family that are in addiction, but yeah, the idea that you could get clarity to see what's going on, it kind of help you proceed. Okay, step three, we made a decision to practice self-love and to trust in a higher power of our understanding. I like how inclusive that is. That you know, the higher power of our understanding as opposed to one specific being. Four, we made a searching and blameless inventory of our parents because, in essence, we had become them. Yeah, I can attest to that too. Um, I am up there in years, let me say, uh, and had a number of years when uh, communication with our adult daughter was difficult. Um, my time in ACA has shown me that what I was doing, not to excuse it, but to explain it, was that I was, still in that the problem loop, you know, and I was definitely the critical parent, uh, and that had to stop. I found my unsolicited advice, which I loved giving, had to stop and just, you know, listen, use my two ears and one mouth proportionally. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm a lot better at it than I used to be. Step five, we admitted to our higher power, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our childhood abandonment. Uh, I I work my ACA program a bit different than my other program. Do have a sponsor, and I, work a pretty conventional program in my original program. But with ACA, seems to work better for me is more of a uh, one-on-one with another ACA fellow or a group of peers to talk about these issues. Um, Seem to find that much more helpful, and uh, I am blessed that we have a fairly robust ACA program nearby. Let's see. Step six, we were entirely ready to begin the healing process with the aid of our higher power. Fairly similar to a step six in other programs. Step seven, we humbly ask our higher power to help us with our healing process. And I love how they included humbly again, just as any other step 10 would be. Uh, Humble meaning no better, no worse. And that we do need our higher powers guidance and help to heal. Step eight, we became willing to open ourselves to receive the unconditional love of our higher power. And I really like this version of step eight. Um, it's, I guess, a little more friendly and embracing, and not quite as much as a fault finding uh, mission. Um, yeah, that was a biggie for me too. Is just to be willing to open myself to higher powers, love. Okay, in step 9, we became willing to accept our own unconditional love by understanding that our higher power loves us unconditionally. Oh my goodness, it's that big. Um, the two my two parents, my biological parents, and my dad's mom were well, the three of them were very critical uh, coming up as a kid. And, I'm sure they meaned well. They wanted me to do my best. Um, my best was kind of never enough. So, yeah, yeah. So knowing at least my higher power loves me unconditionally, doesn't have expectations on me, uh, was very enlightening. Step 10, we continue to take personal inventory and to love and approve of ourselves. That that is okay to love and approve of yourself. Growing up as a kid, that was very much frowned upon because you were getting a big head about yourself and all ego and all that stuff. So yes, it is possible to love and approve of yourselves um, without getting carried away with it, shall I say. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with our higher power, praying only for knowledge of its will for us and the power to carry it out. Not too much changed from our uh, original step 11, but yeah, I found equally as vital to the process. And finally, step 12, we have had a spiritual awakening as a result of taking these steps. And we continue to love ourselves and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And I have to say, it probably took me a good year and a half to get to that point that it's okay to love yourself. It's actually essential to your survival, but moderate it. Go, go along, but self-care. I continue to do that to this day. Self-care with um, self-care with being available for service as needed. Um, the service doesn't always get uh, top billing as it did for many years. Um, but yes, both are important. This has been, pretty much a very high altitude view of what goes on in ACA. I'm sure there's probably at least 3/4 of the people in here who could speak to this more eloquently. I just wanted to say that it is helpful. Uh, it does help you with any other addiction issues or family issues in life. Uh, Definitely worth checking out, whether it be a face-to-face meeting or Zoom meeting. I think they, like any other program, have Zoom meetings available pretty much 24 hours a day. And that is all I have. And thank you. Thank you for listening.